Welcome to Middle-earth Unveiled, the podcast where we dig into the untold stories and unravel the mysteries of Tolkien's incredible world. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the biggest enigmas in Middle-earth, Tom Bombadil. Who is he? Why is he immune to the One Ring's corrupting power? And why does Sauron himself seem to leave him alone? Bombadil is quirky, powerful, and completely unlike anyone else in Tolkien's legendarium, and we're here to figure out why. So grab your walking stick, follow the sound of the singing, and let's journey together to meet the one being in Middle-earth untouched by Sauron's evil. Let's get started.
Okay, so everyone's always going on about Sauron and the One Ring, right? All that power, the fate of Middle-earth hanging in the balance.
Right.
But then you've got this one guy just chilling in the forest, and Sauron basically pretends he doesn't exist. And today we're going to take a deep dive into why that is.
Yeah.
Tom Bombadil, the dude who can make the ring vanish like that, why wasn't Sauron even a little bit worried about him?
It's a great question, and it really gets to the heart of how Tolkien defines power.
Yeah, because Sauron, he's all about domination and control.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But Bombadil, he's just vibing, totally at peace with nature, with himself.
And that's what makes him untouchable to Sauron.
Okay, so before we go any further, for anyone listening who maybe hasn't read The Fellowship of the Ring in a while, can you remind us who is Tom Bombadil?
Yeah, so you meet him early on in the story.
Right.
He lives in the old forest with Goldberry, his wife, and he's this really joyful, kind of eccentric character.
You think eccentric is the right word?
Yeah, I think so.
I always pictured him kind of like a jolly lumberjack or something.
Yeah, but with a bit more magic thrown in.
Yeah.
He rescues the hobbits a couple times from Old Man Willow and then from the Barrow-wights.
Oh, man. Those Barrow-wights creeped me out.
Yeah, they're pretty scary.
Like straight out of a nightmare.
Definitely.
Look, Bombadil, he just sings to them, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll leave you alone.
It's almost like he's woven into the fabric of nature, you know?
Right, exactly. And it's not even just that he's powerful, it's that he's immune to the ring.
That's the really crazy part.
He puts it on, and it doesn't do anything to him. He even makes it disappear and reappear like a magic trick.
It's mind-blowing.
Most people would be corrupted, consumed by the ring's darkness, but not Bombadil.
It's like the ring's power is meaningless to him.
Dope.
And that's what makes him such a mystery.
Right.
Tolkien never really explains where Bombadil comes from, so there are all these theories about who he might be.
Yeah, I remember seeing this one video. They went into all sorts of wild ideas, like, is he a Maia?
Like Gandalf, yeah.
Or a Vala, one of those, angelic beings.
Exactly. Those are some of the most popular theories.
Some people even think he could be, like, Eru Ilúvatar.
Whoa! Like Tolkien's version of God?
Yeah. I mean, Goldberry does call him he is, which sounds pretty darn divine.
It's a tempting theory, but Tolkien actually said that Eru doesn't directly interfere with Middle-earth.
Oh, right.
And besides, Bombadil doesn't really act like a god.
Yeah, he's not, smiting orcs or anything.
Exactly. He's just living his life.
And that's what's so weird. If he's so powerful, why isn't he more involved in taking down Sauron?
Right.
Shouldn't stopping evil be, a priority?
It makes you rethink what godlike even means.
Right.
Maybe Bombadil represents a kind of power that goes beyond our usual ideas of good and evil, you know? He's in harmony with the world, and that's its own kind of power, I think.
Wait, so maybe that's why Sauron isn't scared of him? It's not that Bombadil's weak. It's that he's on a completely different level.
It's possible.
Sauron's this chess grandmaster obsessed with the game, and Bombadil just walks by and flips the board over without even realizing they were playing.
That's a great analogy.
Right. Sauron's all about control, but Bombadil's power comes from his acceptance.
Yeah, his complete lack of interest in the game.
He doesn't want the ring. He doesn't want power over others. He doesn't even want to get involved.
And that makes him truly untouchable.
It's like Sauron can't even comprehend him,
I think so, yeah.
Bombadil's this anomaly, a glitch in the system. This actually makes me think of something I've always wondered.
Okay.
Remember that scene in the Council of Elrond? When they're all debating what to do with the ring?
Yeah.
Why didn't anyone even suggest giving it to Bombadil?
That's a question a lot of fans have. And
Yeah.
it comes down to Bombadil might be immune to the ring, but he wouldn't use it against Sauron. He'd probably just lose it somewhere.
He just doesn't care about the whole power struggle.
Exactly.
So Gandalf and Elrond, as wise as they are, knew that asking Bombadil for help would be pointless.
Like asking a butterfly to carry a boulder?
Yeah, it's just not in his nature.
Nope.
But that doesn't mean he's not powerful.
No. not at all.
His indifference is its own kind of power, in a way.
Absolutely. He represents a force that even the wisest beings in Middle-earth can't fully understand.
He's this immensely powerful being who chooses not to use his power in any way we can comprehend.
And that's what makes him so fascinating.
And so frustrating, too.
Yeah, definitely for both readers and, for viewers, too.
Oh, speaking of viewers.
Yeah.
You know what's always bugged me? That Peter Jackson left Bombadil out of the movies.
I know.
Come on. He's this amazing character. He's got those great songs. He would have looked awesome on the big screen.
Right.
What was Jackson thinking?
There are a few reasons, and to be fair to him, they kind of make sense.
Okay.
First of all, Bombadil doesn't really move the plot forward.
I mean, true. He's kind of a side character.
He saves the hobbits, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Jackson was also worried about pacing.
Yeah. The movie's already long.
Exactly. Adding Bombadil would have made them even longer.
And he probably thought audiences would be confused by this random, all-powerful guy who just disappears.
That's probably true.
Yeah, I guess I can see that.
Yeah.
But still, I think something's lost by not having him there.
I think you're going to say that he represents a side of Middle-earth we don't really get to see in the movies.
Yeah. Like a place that's untouched by Sauron's darkness.
A place of pure joy and connection with nature.
Exactly. He's like a breath of fresh air, a reminder that there's still beauty and wonder in the world, even when things are dark and scary.
It's a powerful message.
And I think it's even more important today with all the craziness going on.
For sure.
So we've talked about how Bombadil is this enigma, ridiculously powerful, but also totally detached from the main conflict. But what does it all mean? What can we actually learn from this singing, nature-loving, ring-ignoring dude?
Great question. And that's what we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good to me.
We'll unpack Bombadil's philosophy, his connection to nature, and what his story might tell us about living in our own complex world.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy to get caught up in those huge battles and the quest for the ring.
Right.
But Bombadil, he kind of reminds us that there's another side to Middle-earth.
Right.
This, ancient force that exists outside all the fighting and the power struggles.
Yeah, it's almost like he's on a different plane of existence.
Yeah, exactly.
While everyone else is freaking out about the fate of the world, he's just hanging out in his forest, singing to badgers, living the dream, basically.
Seriously.
But it's not just about escaping reality, is it? It's about how he interacts with it.
I think you're right.
Like, remember when he calls Goldberry the river woman's daughter?
Yeah.
I feel like that says a lot about how he sees the world.
It's not your typical power dynamic, right?
No, not at all.
He's not dominating nature. They seem to be in this, balanced partnership.
Totally.
And you see that in how he deals with those threats to the hobbits.
Yeah.
He doesn't just destroy Old Man Willow or the Barrow Wights,
He sings to them.
He sings to them. He reasons with them. He almost seems to understand them on some level.
It's like he speaks their language, like the language of nature, the language we've kind of forgotten.
Yeah, maybe.
Sometimes I wish I could just walk into a forest and feel that sense of peace.
Like you belong there.
Exactly.
I think that's what makes Bombadil so fascinating to a lot of people.
Yeah.
He represents that deep connection to nature that we've lost in our modern world.
We try to control it, bend it to our will.
But Bombadil reminds us there's a different way.
A way that's based on respect and understanding, not domination.
Exactly.
He's like the ultimate eco-warrior, but without all the, the protesting and stuff.
Right, he's just living his truth.
And that truth seems to be all about harmony and balance. Which makes me wonder, is that where his power comes from?
It's a good question.
We talk about how powerful he is, but what is the source of that power?
Is it magic? Is it something divine? Or is it something else entirely?
Right. That's the million-dollar question.
I think it goes back to his way of being, his philosophy.
Wow.
He's not trying to control the world around him. He's existing in harmony with it.
And that gives him access to a power we don't really understand.
I think so.
It's like, I don't know, it's like the Force, but instead of levitating rocks, he's levitating reality.
Okay, maybe that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, maybe.
But I get what you're saying.
You're tapping into something deeper, something primal.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what makes him so relevant to us today.
Oh, definitely.
We live in a world obsessed with power and control.
All about achieving and conquering.
But Bombadil shows us there's another way to live.
A way based on connection and harmony, on just being...
Okay, I'm convinced I want to be more like Bombadil. But how do we actually do that? We can't all just run off to the woods and start singing to trees.
Right. It's not about literally becoming Bombadil.
Yeah.
It's about taking those insights and weaving them into our own lives.
Okay, so how do we do that? Give me some practical tips.
I think it starts with awareness.
Awareness of what?
Of the natural world around us. Even in our busy lives, can we take a moment to connect with something natural?
Like going for a walk in the park.
Exactly. Or just stepping outside, feeling the sun on your face, taking a deep breath.
So like actually looking up at the sky once in a while.
Yes. It's about remembering that we're a part of nature, not separate from it.
I like that.
And then from there, we can explore other things.
Like what?
Things like meditation, mindfulness, even gardening.
Right.
These can help us cultivate that sense of connection.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's still this part of me that's a little skeptical, you know? Like, Bombadil's great, but he's kind of a passive character.
In what way?
He doesn't really fight against Sauron. He just kind of chills in his forest and lets everyone else deal with the hard stuff.
That's a fair point.
So how do we balance that, like, joyful detachment with the need to actually engage with the world's problems?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is, and it's one I'm really struggling with.
And it's a question we'll be tackling head-on in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, good.
We'll explore how to integrate Bombadil's wisdom into our own lives and how to find that balance between inner peace and, taking action in a world that needs both.
Sounds good to me.
Me too.
Okay, so we spent all this time talking about Tom Bombadil, the joyful enigma, the nature guy, the one who just doesn't care about the ring.
Right.
But like, how do we actually take all that and use it in our own lives?
Yeah.
We can't all just run off to the woods and hang out with badgers.
I mean, you could try.
Yeah, but like bills,
Right, responsibilities.
So what's the takeaway here?
I think it's about finding the essence of Bombadil's way of being and seeing if we can, bring some of that into our own world.
So not just copying him, exactly, but getting the main idea.
Exactly. Remember how we talked about his power coming from being in harmony with nature?
Right, and how he just accepts things as they are?
Yeah, that contentment, that inner peace, I think that's the key.
Okay, but how do you actually do that? Like, let's say I'm super stressed at work, deadlines, everyone's freaking out. How do I, channel my inner Bombadil?
Do you just start singing?
Maybe not.
But think about how connected to nature he is.
Okay.
Even in the middle of all that chaos, can you find a moment to connect with something natural?
Like, step outside, take a breath.
Yeah, exactly. Feel the sun on your face, the wind.
It's like a grounding technique.
Exactly. Reconnect with something bigger than all the stress.
Okay, I can see that.
It shifts your perspective.
Reminds you that the world keeps going, no matter what. But what about when you actually have to do something? Like, fight for what you believe in?
Well, Bombadil doesn't really fight, not in the way we usually think of it.
He's just vibing.
But remember, he's not ignoring the darkness. He's making a conscious choice.
To not get involved.
Right. And that's a lesson for us, too.
So we can choose our battles.
Exactly. And we can choose how we react to them.
But how do you know which battles to fight?
I think that comes from that inner peace, from connecting with something bigger than ourselves.
When you're grounded, you can see things more clearly.
Absolutely. You can act with more purpose.
It's like that saying, the quieter you become, the more you can hear.
I love that.
If we're always caught up in the noise, we'll miss the important stuff.
And that's where mindfulness comes in.
Like Bombadil, just paying attention to the present moment.
Noticing the details, listening to your intuition.
So it's not just about going for a walk in the woods, it's about really experiencing it.
Exactly. The leaves, the sunlight, the sounds.
And as you do that, you start to tap into this deeper wisdom.
A wisdom that can guide you.
Okay, I think I'm getting it.
It's not about being a hermit or ignoring the world's problems.
It's about approaching them with a different mindset.
Right, understanding your place in the bigger picture.
And having that inner peace and strength to act with clarity and compassion.
That's a great way to put it.
So next time I'm facing a challenge, big or small, I'm going to try channeling my inner Bombadil.
I like that.
Take a deep breath, connect with nature, remember that even in the darkest times, there's still beauty to be found.
And a song to be sung.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with me. It's been really eye-opening.
Me too. It's always fun to explore these ideas.
And to anyone listening, thanks for joining us.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep singing your own song no matter what.
That's great advice.
Until next time.
See you then, Indega.
And that's a wrap on Tom Bombadil, Middle-earth's greatest mystery. Immune to power, untouched by evil, and still leaving us with more questions than answers. Thanks for listening to the Deep Dive podcast of Middle-earth Unveiled. Don't forget to subscribe and join us next time as we uncover the dark secrets behind the Rings of Power. Until then, keep your heart light and your songs merry.